Hi, welcome. Enjoy the content, subscribe, and turn on notifications.
Tyler always thought of himself as a thoughtful husband. At 28, he worked as a software engineer at a tech company, had a stable routine, and a marriage that, in his eyes, was going well. Kelsey, his 27-year-old wife, worked as a nutritionist at a private clinic, spending her days advising patients on healthy eating, but she admitted she herself lived a sedentary lifestyle. Years of college, work, and a busy schedule had pushed exercise to the back burner. Tyler never pressured her about it. He loved her just as she was, with all her imperfections and habits. It was on a Saturday morning about 2 months ago that Kelsey brought it up for the first time. They were having coffee when she mentioned, almost casually, that she'd been feeling too tired lately, had back pain, and no energy. Tyler listened while spreading jam on his toast. Kelsey went on, saying she wanted to start exercising again and needed to take better care of her health. Tyler supported her right away. He said he thought it was great and that she should do whatever made her feel good. Kelsey smiled, clearly relieved by his reaction, and mentioned she was thinking of hiring a personal trainer, someone who could design a workout plan specifically for her, since she'd never felt comfortable in crowded gyms. Over the next few days, Kelsey did a lot of research. She showed Tyler some gym options, talked about prices, schedules, and facilities. He listened carefully, and when she mentioned a gym that was a bit more expensive but had an excellent reputation, Tyler didn't hesitate. He told her to go with the best option and said he'd help pay for it. Kelsey was visibly happy. She hugged Tyler, thanked him for his support, and said he was the best husband in the world. Tyler felt a pang of pride. He liked seeing his wife excited and motivated about something new. The gym Kelsey chose was about 15 minutes from their house. It was modern, with new equipment and a team of specialized personal trainers. Kelsey started working out 3 times a week, always in the late afternoon after work. Her trainer's name was Jared. Tyler had never met him in person, but Kelsey talked about him often. She said Jared was attentive, created challenging but suitable workouts for her level, and encouraged her without being arrogant. Tyler listened and agreed, it all seemed perfectly normal. After all, a good professional really does make a difference. The first few weeks went exactly as Tyler expected. Kelsey came home tired, sweaty, but smiling. She'd talk about the exercises she'd done, how she was lifting heavier weights, and the progress Jared had pointed out. Tyler celebrated every small win with her. He even suggested they go out to dinner to celebrate when she completed a full month of consistent workouts. Kelsey accepted, and over dinner, she spoke enthusiastically about how much better she was feeling, more energetic, less exhausted. Tyler felt happy for her. It all seemed genuine. But then, about 3 weeks ago, Tyler started noticing subtle changes. Kelsey began coming home later than usual. When he asked, she'd say she'd done an extra workout session, that Jared had suggested an additional set of exercises, or that they'd stayed to talk about meal plan adjustments. The explanation sounded reasonable, but their frequency started to bother Tyler. At first, he said nothing. He didn't want to seem controlling or suspicious. After all, Kelsey was just taking care of her health, right? Another detail Tyler noticed was her behavior with her phone. Kelsey had always been relaxed about her cell, leaving it anywhere, never minding if Tyler picked it up to check something. But in recent weeks, she started keeping it close at all times, screen facing down. Several times, Tyler saw her laughing alone while looking at her screen, and whenever he approached, she'd quickly lock it and set it aside, changing the subject. Tyler tried to rationalize it, maybe it was a funny group chat with friends. But a growing feeling that something was off began to take root inside him. One Wednesday night, Tyler was working in his home office when Kelsey came home nearly an hour later than usual. He stepped out and found her in the kitchen, drinking water, still in her workout clothes. He asked if everything was okay, if her session had run long. Kelsey answered quickly, almost nervously, saying Jared had done a full physical assessment, measuring her body fat percentage and taking measurements, which had taken longer than expected. Tyler nodded, but noticed she wouldn't look him in the eyes while speaking. That bothered him deeply, but he swallowed his suspicion and went back to his office. The following Thursday, Tyler was again working from home, focused on wrapping up a project with a tight deadline. Around 3 in the afternoon, his phone buzzed with a message from an unknown number. He tapped on it absent-mindedly, expecting spam or a promotion. But what he saw on the screen made him stop breathing for a second. The message read, "Sorry, man. You deserve to know the truth. I didn't know she was married until last week when I saw the ring she left in my car." Tyler read the message 3 times, trying to process it. Who was this person? What truth? What ring? His heart started racing. Before he could reply, another message arrived. It was a video, 43 seconds long. Tyler hesitated, his finger hovering over the play button. Part of him didn't want to watch, didn't want to confirm what he was already beginning to suspect. But he needed to know. He tapped play. The video was grainy black and white security footage, clearly from a surveillance system, high angle, decent quality. It showed a weight room with equipment in the background, apparently empty. The timestamp in the bottom corner showed the recording was from 5 days earlier, around 9 at night, well after the gym's normal operating hours. Then Tyler saw her. Kelsey entered the frame from the left, wearing a workout set he recognized. She was smiling, looking towards someone off camera. Seconds later, a man walked into frame, tall, athletic, dark-haired. Jared, Tyler assumed, though he'd never seen him before. The man stepped toward Kelsey, placed his hands on her waist, and pulled her close. Kelsey didn't resist. On the contrary, she tilted her head up, and they kissed, a long, intimate kiss, clearly not accidental or innocent. Tyler's stomach turned, but he couldn't stop watching. They pulled apart briefly, laughed about something, then kissed again, his hands sliding up her back, hers around his neck. The video ended. Tyler stared at his phone's black screen, the silence in his office deafening. His hands trembled. He didn't know whether he felt anger, sadness, shock, or some confusing mix of it all. Another message arrived, snapping him back to reality. It was from the same unknown number. "My name's Jared. I'm her personal trainer. I only found out she was married last week when she forgot her ring in my car after a session. I confronted her about it. She begged me not to tell you, said you two were basically separated and it was only a matter of time. I was stupid enough to believe her until now. But this isn't right. You deserve to know." Tyler read the message, trying to absorb it all. Jared had broken things off with Kelsey. At least there was some decency in that, Tyler thought bitterly. Another message came through. "I feel awful about this. She told me she was single when we met. It wasn't until later that she started seeking me out outside training hours. I should have suspected something. Sorry, man." Tyler didn't reply. He didn't know what to say. He locked his phone and sat in silence for several minutes, staring blankly at the office wall. He thought about all the times Kelsey came home late, all the excuses about extra sessions and physical assessments. He thought about the hidden laughter while she looked at her phone, the way she'd avoid him when he asked questions. It all made painful, crystal clear sense now. He glanced at the clock. It was 3:15 p.m. Kelsey had a session scheduled for 5 p.m., as usual on Thursdays. But now Tyler knew there probably wouldn't be a session today, since Jared had ended things with her. Kelsey would come home at her normal time, maybe inventing yet another excuse. Tyler took a deep breath, trying to rein in the storm of emotions threatening to spill over. He wouldn't wait. He wouldn't pretend he didn't know. He wouldn't give her the chance to keep lying. He picked up his phone and sent a message to Kelsey. "What time are you getting home today?" Her reply came quickly. Hey love. Probably around 6:30, I'll train and then stop by the market. Need anything? Tyler read the message and felt a sharp stab of anger. She kept lying, effortlessly, as if nothing were wrong. He typed back, don't need anything. Come straight home after work. We need to talk. There was a pause before Kelsey's reply. Is everything okay? Did something happen? Tyler could almost feel the tension in her question, the worry masked as concern. He responded, just come home. At 6. He offered no further explanation. He locked his phone and stared at his computer screen, but couldn't focus on anything for the rest of the afternoon. At exactly 6 p.m., Tyler heard Kelsey's car pull into the garage. He was sitting on the living room sofa, waiting. He'd spent the last few hours cycling between anger, sadness, and a strange numbness. He heard the garage door open, her footsteps coming through the kitchen. Kelsey appeared in the living room seconds later, still in her work clothes, a confused look on her face. Tyler? What's going on? You're scaring me, she said, dropping her purse on the nearest chair. Tyler looked at her, really looked, trying to see the woman he'd married 3 years ago. The woman he trusted. The woman who, it now seemed, had been lying to him for weeks, maybe months. Sit down, Tyler said, surprised by how calm his voice sounded. Kelsey frowned but obeyed, sitting in the armchair across from him. Tyler, you're freaking me out. What's wrong? Tyler picked up his phone, opened the chat with Jared, and turned the screen toward Kelsey, showing the paused video, the exact moment she and Jared were clearly about to kiss. Want to explain this? Kelsey's reaction was instant. Her face went pale, her eyes widened, her mouth opened but no sound came out. She looked at the screen, then at Tyler, then back at the screen. Tyler, If you need a refresher, go ahead and press play, Tyler said, his voice still controlled but edged with a sharp sarcasm he'd never used with her before. It's from the gym security system. You two were pretty discreet, waited until after hours. Or so you thought. Kelsey started trembling. Tyler, I can explain, I swear I can explain. Then explain, Tyler cut in, crossing his arms. Explain how you spent the last few months telling me you were taking care of your health while cheating on me with your personal trainer. Explain the lies about extra sessions, physical assessments, coming home late. Explain it all, Kelsey. I'm listening. Tears began streaming down her face. Tyler, I didn't want this, it was a mistake, a huge mistake, I don't even know what happened, You don't know what happened? Tyler repeated, his voice rising slightly. Kelsey, you didn't trip and fall mouth first into his mouth. This wasn't an accident. It was a choice. Several choices. You chose to lie to me, chose to meet him, chose to do this behind my back while I paid for that damn gym. Kelsey sobbed, covering her face with her hands. I'm so sorry, Tyler, I'm so sorry, it was just, he paid attention to me, made me feel special, and I got carried away, but it's over now, he broke up with me, I swear it's over. Tyler felt a bitter laugh rise in his throat. He broke up with you? Oh, how convenient. And when were you going to tell me that, Kelsey? Or were you going to keep lying until he outed you? Because that's exactly what happened. He sent me this video because he found out you're married and felt guilty. It wasn't you who had the decency to be honest with me. Tyler, please, Kelsey reached toward him, but Tyler pulled away, standing up from the couch. Don't touch me, he said firmly. You don't have that right anymore. Kelsey collapsed into tears, folding over her knees. Tyler, please, we can fix this, we can talk, I'll go to therapy, I'll do whatever it takes, please don't leave me. Tyler looked at her, the woman who'd promised him fidelity, and felt a strange mix of pity and disgust. Fix it? Kelsey, there's nothing to fix. You destroyed the trust one had in you. You lied to me every single day, looked me in the eye, slept next to me, while you were with another man. How do you expect me to fix that? It was just a few weeks, Tyler, I swear, it wasn't serious, it was just. A few weeks? Tyler interrupted, anger finally breaking through. He thought of the cash withdrawals he'd seen on their statements, the months of odd behavior. Kelsey, stop lying. You're still lying right now. And not serious? You were making out with him in an empty weight room at 9 at night. You were meeting him outside training hours. He said you sought him out, told him we were basically separated, that our marriage was over. Did you say that to him, Kelsey? Did you badmouth me to the guy you were cheating on me with? Kelsey didn't answer, just kept crying. Tyler shook his head, feeling a deep exhaustion wash over him. I want you out of the house. Today. Now. Tyler, no, please, it's our home, we can. Leave, Kelsey, Tyler said, voice low but firm. Pack your things and go to your mom's, a hotel, wherever. But I don't want you here tonight. Tomorrow I'll contact my lawyer. We'll sort out the details later. Kelsey looked at him, face red and wet with tears, eyes desperate. Tyler, please, don't do this, I love you, I really love you, it was just a mistake. If you really loved me, you wouldn't have done this, Tyler said, turning his back on her and walking toward his office. I'll stay here. When I come out, I want you gone. He stepped into the office and closed the door, leaning against it with his eyes shut. He heard Kelsey sobbing in the living room, then her footsteps going upstairs, drawers opening in the bedroom, the sound of a suitcase being dragged. Half an hour later, he heard the front door close and her car start up. Tyler waited until the engine faded down the street before leaving the office. The house was silent. He walked to the living room, picked up his phone, and texted his best friend, Ben, need to talk. You free? Ben replied in less than a minute, always. Be there in 20. In the days that followed, Tyler tried to keep up his routine while processing everything. He went to work, spoke with a divorce attorney, and started gathering the necessary paperwork. Kelsey tried contacting him repeatedly, texts apologizing, begging to talk, saying she was sorry. Tyler didn't respond. After the 10th message, he blocked her number. It was while organizing divorce documents that Tyler discovered something that made him even angrier. Reviewing their joint bank account statements, he noticed something odd. Kelsey's gym membership was automatically charged to their shared credit card each month, as expected. But there were also multiple cash withdrawals, small amounts of $50 to $100, always on the same days of the week, always from the same ATM near the gym. Tyler compared those dates with their calendar. The withdrawals perfectly matched the days Kelsey claimed to have extra sessions, or came home late. It hadn't been just a few weeks, as she'd claimed. The statements showed months of systematic cash withdrawals. Tyler's anger flared again. She wasn't just using his money to pay for the gym where she'd met her lover, she was pulling out cash to fund secret meetups with Jared, dinners, transportation, motels, places where she didn't want credit card trails. She'd literally financed her own affair with their shared money and lied about everything, including how long it had lasted. Tyler compiled all the statements, highlighted every suspicious withdrawal, and brought everything to his lawyer. The attorney reviewed the documents and shook his head, impressed by the level of planning and deception. This will weigh heavily in your favor, he said. Misuse of marital funds, proof of dishonest conduct. She won't come out of this well. The divorce moved quickly. Kelsey tried to dispute some points, but the evidence against her was overwhelming, the video, Jared's messages confirming the affair, the bank statements showing the diverted funds. The judge showed her no sympathy. Tyler kept the house, it had been purchased mainly with inheritance money from his grandfather. Kelsey had to repay over $1,500 she'd improperly withdrawn from their joint account during the affair and lost any right to alimony or significant asset division. News of the affair spread fast through their social circle. Mutual friends took sides, and most stood with Tyler once they learned the details. Kelsey lost several friendships. Tyler also heard from Ben that Jared eventually left the gym after the story reached management. The administration couldn't keep him on given the situation with a client. At least there were consequences for everyone involved, Tyler thought with bitter satisfaction. 6 months passed. Tyler focused on himself, his career, rebuilding his life. He started working out too, but chose a different gym on the other side of town, one with no bad memories. He went to therapy to process the betrayal and anger. Slowly, he began to feel better, lighter, more like himself again. One Saturday morning, Tyler was grocery shopping when he spotted Kelsey in the produce aisle. She looked different, shorter hair, no makeup, simple clothes. She saw him too, and for a moment they just stared at each other from a distance. Tyler noticed the dark circles, her slumped posture, the way she quickly looked away, as if ashamed. He considered turning and heading to another aisle, avoiding her entirely. But something in him decided he didn't need to run. He had nothing to be ashamed of. He kept walking down the aisle, picking out the fruit he needed, keeping his expression neutral. Kelsey approached hesitantly. "Tyler," she said quietly when she was a few feet away. "Hi." "Kelsey," Tyler replied, polite but cold. He didn't stop selecting apples. "How are you?" she asked, her voice shaky. "Good," Tyler said, placing the apples in his cart. "Really good, actually." Kelsey bit her lip, seeming to want to say more but struggling to find the words. Tyler glanced at her, noticing how small and fragile she seemed compared to how he remembered her. Part of him felt a twinge, whether pity or just memory of who she used to be to him, he wasn't sure. "I just wanted you to know I'm really sorry," Kelsey finally said, her voice breaking slightly. "For everything. I know it doesn't change anything, but I truly am." Tyler nodded slowly. "I know," he said. And he did believe she was sorry. But that didn't undo what had happened, didn't erase the pain, didn't rebuild the trust. "Take care of yourself, Kelsey." He pushed his cart past her and continued down the aisle without looking back. Kelsey stood there, watching Tyler walk away, then turned and headed in the opposite direction. Tyler finished shopping, paid, and walked out to the parking lot. As he loaded the bags into his car, he thought about everything that had happened over the past year, the discovery, the anger, the divorce, the rebuilding. He thought about how trust can take years to build and seconds to shatter completely. But he also thought about how he'd come out the other side, not unscathed, not without scars, but stronger. More aware. More selective about who he trusted. Tyler got in the car, started the engine, and pulled out of the lot. Life went on. And he was ready to go on too, free of a marriage built on lies. 3 months later, Tyler met someone new. He wasn't looking, but it happened naturally through mutual friends. Her name was Sarah, an architect with a genuine smile and honest eyes. They took things slowly, building something based on open communication and mutual respect. Tyler hadn't forgotten what Kelsey did, he probably never would completely, but he'd learned that one betrayal didn't define all people or ruin all future possibilities. Kelsey, on the other hand, didn't recover as well. Through mutual contacts, Tyler heard she'd lost her job at the clinic, not directly because of the affair, but because her reputation had been tarnished and several patients requested to be reassigned to other nutritionists. She eventually accepted a lower-paying position at a smaller clinic in another city. Jared also vanished from the scene, apparently switching careers after being let go. Tyler didn't feel joy at their suffering, but he didn't feel pity either. Actions have consequences, and both Kelsey and Jared were living theirs. He had his own consequences to face, his own wounds to heal, but he chose to do it looking forward, not backward. A year after the discovery, Tyler was in his new apartment, a bigger place in a better neighborhood than their old house. Sarah was in the kitchen making dinner, laughing at something on a podcast playing from her phone. Tyler looked around at the life he'd rebuilt and felt something he hadn't felt in a long time, genuine contentment. His phone buzzed with a notification. It was a message from an unknown number. Curious, Tyler opened it. "Hey Tyler. It's Jared. I know it's been a while, but I wanted to apologize again. What I did was unforgivable. I hope you're doing well." Tyler read the message, thought for a moment, then simply deleted it. There was nothing to say. The past was past. He stood up from the couch and walked into the kitchen, wrapping his arms around Sarah from behind. She turned, smiling, and kissed him lightly. "Dinner in 10 minutes, she said. Tyler smiled back. Perfect. And it really was, not perfect in the sense of a life without problems or pain, but perfect in being real, honest, built on solid ground. And for Tyler, after everything he'd been through, that was more than enough. Thank you for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you won't miss any updates. See you next time.